do this so it's out of the way. The thing that kept me up is I was doing a banana zucchini bread, and that should be online for you. Banana zucchini bread. You might say, what a combination. It is a very delicious combination. You know, zucchini doesn't have any, it's not an overpowering taste. So you can mix it with just about anything and everything. So this is my banana zucchini bread. It's look a little deep down because I had to take it out hot and travel with it, and it didn't like that at all. So that is the reason why it doesn't look that delicious, but I'm sure it tastes delicious. So this is our feature this evening, and I wanted to make it for you so you'll know what it looks like. And today now, our vegetable, we're going to be doing a little cooking today. And you see a lot of things. These are my banana zucchini that I left. I would tell you something, this recipe, you don't have to drain the zucchini because it likes the moisture. So you need just 2 cups, and we just shred it. The rest of the zucchini freezes beautiful. So you don't have to worry if you have too much zucchini. Remember, it's zucchini time now. Next week, we're going to do some exclusively zucchini recipes. So, but I wanted to do a little, plus yesterday was Zachary's birthday, so we wanted to bake something for him. Okay, so that additional zucchini, we can bake some muffins with it, or we can freeze it, or we can cook it. So zucchini doesn't go bad in the summertime, and you always have an abundance of it. But today our recipe we're going to feature is I'm making cauliflower rice, and this is the purple one. First year I have planted, maybe this is second time we planted some zucchini, some cauliflower, and this is the purple one we got this year, purple and white. So I am going to enjoy this. It's just a little bit because the funny thing, you can't keep it too long after you process it. So after you make the rice, you can't keep it too long. It only lasts about 3 days in the refrigerator. So you just want to do just the amount that you want. And if you do more than you need, you can freeze it. It freezes very well. I can keep it in the freezer for about a month. So you don't have to worry too much about it. And with our cauliflower rice, we'll be using up some of my eggplants and my okra. And we're going to saute this with my onions and garlic, peppers, and tomatoes. And so we will be able to do that. And with that, we're going to eat some greens. So I have here some kale, some lucerne kale, and I have here, some of you know this as parsley, but it's the right name is parsley. Whenever I'm making greens, a lot of people only love to eat callaloo, which is tropical stuff. We plant it up here. So what I do when I'm making callaloo, I put just about every wild greens I can find in there. And that way you're not scared of eating the wild stuff. So, and these are these are not wild greens. They're bona fide greens, and we're going to chop them up and saute them to eat over our cauliflower rice. Okay. And while I am doing this, I am going to tell you about an upcoming program that I would like to do. I would like to, some of you had asked me for recommendation when it comes to juicer, and I sent out that information. Some people ordered it already, and we would like to do a juice feast in the very, very near future, because that is like resetting your system, if you know what I mean, especially in the summertime when you start eating stuff that you know you're not supposed to eat and you want to reset your system. So I'm going to just barely chop these greens so we can. We're going to turn this up a little. These are my new pots that doesn't need to use so much oil in there. So I just use a little tiny bit of oil to make the surface glide over the surface, but you really don't need a lot of oil. So just a smidge. So I'll let the temperature come up a little more, and we'll put in the onion and the garlic and stuff like that. And this is a little parsley. I think you can get a good meal from all the greens you grow in your garden. I know a lot of you are growing garden this year and you really want to benefit from all the good stuff that you have there. So we're going to put that aside. And I'm a firm believer that you make all your greens together. You should know exactly how much time you need to for each green. These are beet tops, just a few. These are going to come in handy when you start doing your juice feast, because you're going to be drinking a lot of juice next couple of weeks. I'm not going to overpower it with a lot of different greens, just a few that I know blend well together. And they pretty much cook at the same pace. So you don't have anything that is hard to cook. All right. I'll put some of the in there. I don't use a lot of this because it has a different consistency. So I only put a very little bit of it in there. And I don't cook it too long. So keep it by itself because I know when to put it in, take it out. Let's see how this is going. I'll put some onions and garlic. These are some very spicy garlic. And then we'll put some peppers in there. I have red pepper and purple pepper. Okay. Still have that seasoning. Okay, yeah, very much. I'm gonna put just a little bit of seasoning in there, so give it some taste. And these are the first tomatoes from our garden. And these are very sweet tomatoes, so I'm not going to waste them in here. I'm going to just put a little bit of the case. Oh, just put about a teaspoon of seasoning in there. And I'm going to put my eggplant in there because what I want the eggplant to do is just to saute, not. I'm gonna cover this and let it sweat a little, and then we're gonna talk about our herbal section. So I'm going to just let that work in marinade. Then I put in. Okay, so this section we're going to talk about is our herbal healing segment. While we're cooking, we're here to do different things. All right, so this week we're talking about, I make my own, this is my dandelion, and most of you know what dandelion looks like. This is dandelion I just got out the garden today. My wild dandelion. It's a little bitter, and I'm interested in the roots. The roots is what I'm using today to make what I do. Normally, I just chop this up and put in my green sauce. So that's what I do in my dandelion. I don't waste it. So today we're talking how I make my dandelion roots. When I get some nice looking roots, wash them carefully with a vegetable brush and let them just dry. I just leave them in my windowsill and let them dry. So they're not totally dry, because these are the newest ones I have. So these are dry, they're not finished dry. When they're dry, when I pop them, they'll just, you hear it snaps. That means it's very, very dry. So I let that dry for a couple of weeks, well, more than a couple of weeks. And when it's nice and dry, I will finish the process. Okay. I'm going to turn this down a little because these pots doesn't use too much oil, but yes, you want it to you want it to do a little steaming also. You don't want to burn up the stuff. So I'm going to turn it down a little. Maybe to about 300. Good. So we can leave it for a little while. Okay, so we go back to our, this is my dandelion root. When it's very dry, I put it in a blender. And this is as best as I'm going to get it. So it's not going to grind up like a powder because it's hard and it make a lot of noise in the blender also. So you get it. So it's, it has some chunks in there, but it also has some other, some pieces that are really blended out. So this is what it looks like. So I will put it in some hot water for maybe about 15 minutes. Just boil it up and then turn it off and let it sleep for about 15 minutes. And I'm not going to tell you any stories. It's pretty bitter. But it's a blood cleanser. And this is a color. I wouldn't drink more than that. That's a color. It also if you're having problem with retaining water and stuff like this, it's great to have a cup of this in the morning. Well, maybe a half a cup. It's fairly bitter, and you know I don't mind bitter stuff, but this is pretty bitter. So, but dandelion is a bitter vegetable anyway, so you don't have to worry. It won't hurt you. It won't hurt you. So this is what I do in my dandelion tea. You can buy it in the store in the tea bags, but when you drink it from the tea bag, it doesn't taste anything like this because I don't know what they did with it. It's not bitter. And dandelion is a bitter fruit. Is a bitter vegetable. So you know something is not right when it tastes so good from the one you buy. Buy in the supermarket. Okay, so this is my dandelion tea, and also I keep mine in the refrigerator, so I normally just drink it cold. Tastes better when it's cold for me. All right, so this is my dandelion, and as I say, it's a blood cleanser. It also helps to, if you have retaining water, you can drink it. So it will help to take care of that problem and inflammation, and it has a whole host of other goodies about it. My other thing that I want to work with this evening is I want to show you my mullein. I'm gonna put maybe a little bit of water in each, so create some steam. Just a little bit of water there. So it creates some steam. All right. Okay, so this my other herb that I use all the time. This is mullein, and it's while if you're driving on the highway, sometimes during the summertime you will notice there is a plant with some long shoot in the air with lots of nice yellow flowers. This is the mullein. And I have a new variety that have big flowers. Normally the flowers are tiny and really tiny flowers. See how tiny this one is? And look at the size of this one. So it's a new variety. I didn't even know they existed, but it's really nice. I don't have to use so many leaves to get me water. Now this one, if you have any upper respiratory problem like asthma or anything like that, this is what you drink. If you have a cold or anything like that, this is what I drink. That I also keep that in the refrigerator. If you notice here, it's yellow because the flowers are yellow, and so you would have nice, beautiful drink, and it really doesn't have any taste. And it's more beneficial than anything else. I don't know anybody ever say they have a bad experience with mullein. You also can use the leaves. I'm partial to the flowers. You can use the leaves, dry the leaves to make tea, especially in the winter time when you won't have access to this. What I do with the flowers, I dehydrate the flowers and keep them into a mason jar. As usual, I keep everything in a mason jar and keep it for the winter. So I can have my drink in the winter. I have to tell you, it is, we had a very good season of mullein this year. So this is perfect. All right. I would let my eggplant go down looking good. It has lots of colors. So we have eggplant in there. We have a little okra, and of course the seasoning. And I would just let that steam until it's nice and soft. And I would, we know we don't have any time today and I was late. So I'll tell you, this is not difficult to cook. What you would do is saute the onion and the garlic and everything. Put this in a saucepan and just let it marinate and just saute it, and it's done. It's very, very quick to do. And of course, this is my caldo, and I would cook all my greens together. And I have a dinner. That would be my dinner. And my, I'll put this in a pot. We have a dish I can put this in. I'm going to do the vegetable in this pot. A little. So we're going to take out this vegetable. I don't want it cooked too much. So I'm going to take the stuff out of here and put the rest of the season in there. And so I will have, and I can. Good. Thank you. Much better. All right, now I'm going to let that sit there for a little bit. And then it's down a little bit more. Once it's heated, so I'm gonna put a little bit of stuff in here now, so I can have my. Thank you. Now I'll put the rest of my onions and garlic so I can make the greens. And I do love a lot of garlic. This garlic is quite spicy, so it really make your food taste very good. Plus, garlic is healthy for you. Some people cook everything. Don't take the covering off. I'm gonna put a little seasoning in there. Oh, thank you. That's a teaspoon. That's good enough. All right. So now what I'm going to do, I know my greens are not very hard to cook, so. And they pretty much cook at the same rate. I'm gonna start with these. I like to let them sit for a few minutes to get acclimated with the heat. And then I'm going to put the coffee in. I couldn't put that in last. I'm going to put the first layer in last because I don't put too much calorie in there either. Is that just to encourage people who doesn't like to eat anything else but carbo? You can cook the carbo with just about anything else. Tastes good. All right, so we're going to let that go. And of course, as I explained to you, just use the same garlic and onions and anything else you want to put in there and saute this with a little bit. I love to use, just use a little bit of either olive oil or little coconut oil, just a little bit to get the onion and stuff soft. And then you put this in and just let it do its thing. And you will have a very good meal. You'll eat the vegetable over the anything that calls for rice. You can substitute the cauliflower for rice. And you won't even know that I had kale in here and all the other stuff in here. How much time I have left? Okay, we have 5 minutes left. And you notice it's nice, getting nice and warm already. And I love the coloring in here. And I just barely gonna make it cook. You don't want it cooked till it's disappearing. But you don't want it crunchy either. I remember somebody told me once, Oh, I made some color and it was country. I said, no, color should be crunchy. All right. And as I said, I put a little purslane in there, but I put it in almost when it's finished because of the consistency of the purslane. Okay, so a little quick and hurried dinner today, but we would have this. Then we for healthy snack we could have or we should cut it and see what it looks like. Let me cut the. I hope it has enough time to cheese. All right, let's see. Just gonna do the sliver because I don't know how done this is. It's not quite done, so I have to put it back in the oven. See, but you can see the this banana is going to be moist, and the zucchini is going to have some little green speck in there. But I need to put it back in the oven so it kind of do a little bit more baking. I put it in the oven too late this evening. All right. So let's look at our vegetable. You can see it's very pretty. And it smells good, trust me. Okay. So I am going to put my purslane in there, or parsley, just a little bit. I don't put a lot in there. You can also put this in when you're doing smoothies, but as I said, just a little bit. I'm gonna let this cook for a little while. Some people will mix the eggplant in there, but I love to keep them separate. I wouldn't mix that. Okay, that's great. We're gonna let that simmer, and that brings the end our cooking session. And if you have any questions or any comments, you could let me know now. No questions? Okay, so the recipe for the banana zucchini bread will be posted, and of course you really don't need a recipe for my greens. I think you use whatever you have in your garden or in your refrigerator. And I would remind you that when you buy the vegetables in the store, remember now they're not as fresh as the ones you're going to get from your garden. So you can't let them stay in the refrigerator for a long time. Okay? And enjoy. And I will see you on next week. Next week, we will try to do some sessions and using up some of the zucchinis. You know, when zucchinis start, zucchinis get quite plentiful. So we'll do a few segments using zucchini to make main dish and even for juicing. So thanks for coming along this evening, and bring a friend with you next time. Thank you.